On a serious note, I think it's a great endeavor. I know there is a lot that guys need to talk amongst each other, because cyber security, or the way we want to advance. If you settle down, it will be easier for me to speak. I don't want you to maintain complete silence ताकि मुझे इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई बोलना पड़े. But still, little bit of settling down will help. I think that we have all read Sherlock Holmes at some point in our careers, in part of our lives, and in there is a very famous statement which I had written in my diary long back when I was in class 12 maybe. And in that particular paragraph, Sherlock Holmes was explaining to Watson why Dr. Moriarty, if you're familiar with the word, he was the wicked mind, the villain in the Sherlock Holmes saga. Why he was described to be a dangerous criminal by Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes said that when illiterate people get into crime, their crimes may be dangerous, but it can get even more dangerous and it can harm the society if an intelligent, educated man gets into the world of crime and tries to use his grey matter, as we refer to our brains, try to use his grey matter in the grey areas of life of the society. So, ironically, when we are dealing with computers and we are dealing with we are trying to get digitally ahead, which is definitely the way forward. When we are dealing with all these things, when we are getting into plastic instead of physical cash, which again is good for the exchequer, good for the economy of the country. What happens is, the moment you are trying to buy anything from the net, no matter what it is, you are punching in your personal identity numbers. Be it the Aadhaar card, be it the PAN card, be it your credit card number, even the CVV and everything else, you are actually punching it into your computer. So, or you are rather leaving it out in the open. The moment you do that, there is bound to have a little bit of vulnerability that sets in you, because given the fact that the entire world is facing and has faced some serious breach of cyber securities, be it our own defense ministry, be it NASA, or be it even the Pentagon. Their websites have all been hacked, and I'm not talking about the hacked accounts of Bollywood celebrities where they actually go and say something, and if they find they are being trolled, they say that my account has been hacked. So that's a different ballgame altogether. But on a serious note, it is true that we have every reason to be cautious, to be skeptical whenever you are trying to get into the web. You're getting into the digital space, trying to work there with your personal identification and everything else, without knowing the particular cloud where your data is going into. In school, in college, in geography, you must have read about different kinds of clouds. There are nimbus clouds, which are black in color. They cause a lot of rain. There are cumulus clouds, which are shiny in nature, which we see during the Durga Puja. There are cumulonimbus clouds, which causes rain, which is a mixture of black and silver thing. And then there are the cirrus clouds, which are out there in almost between the ionosphere and stratosphere, which we do not see, but they exist there. So in our digital space, there are a lot of there is an amalgamation of the nimbus dark clouds as well as the shiny the shiny cumulus clouds. There is a very good side and there is a very bad side. Now, how bad the bad side is something that even the most expert of the experts would not be able to explain, because it is like the human brain. Till today, I can assure you that doctors have only been able to decipher about 25% of what happens really inside the brain or in our minds. The dark web, or the that portion of the web, is still very much unexplored, and most of it is based on theorems or axioms or what we may think can happen inside that. But having said that, it is also true that the most intelligent minds who make these crimes, who commit these crimes of hacking computers, of hacking very secured, world-renowned networks, are the very people who, after having served their sentence for the crime, they are the very ones who are hired by the police system to help them, track and solve cyber crimes. We know a lot of great hackers. There's some really notorious hackers who have been employed by the police worldwide to assist them when it comes to cyber crimes. So yes, it is the coexistence of the good and the evil. So there is no way you can get away from the digital space, you can get away from using plastic, you can get away from using credit cards. But at the same time, there is, like we have Mr. Sanjay Das, is a very, very learned and an expert in cyber security. I'm sure he must have given you a good speech, a good, intelligent enlightenment on what that is. I can very safely say that Mr. Das has actually lost his hair thinking about the dark side of the web. But having said that, it's kind of ironical, or it's funny that in a room full of people or professors who specialize in this particular field, I am asked to give a speech on cyber security. I really don't qualify for it. I just know that whatever the great minds or all of you research and find out is only going to help me while I get more and more into digital workspace, as is definitely the future of the world today. So my suggestion to you is to not be scared, not to be very skeptical, which you are definitely not to be very wary about what could happen. Because, yes, we do read about a lot of hackings here and there, a lot of data that is getting, clouds are not safe either. On a lighter note, I may say that why did the cloud break in Bangalore? Because most of the, the cloud computing, most of the cloud computing takes place in Bangalore. And it's not safe because you see, it's in Bangalore where the cloud broke and people had a lot of rains. So I know you are not getting the jokes anymore because you're hungry. But that has happened to me even when I was in school. But it's true that Bangalore was a place where the cloud actually broke, and that is probably a sign that yes, even putting everything into the cloud may not be the safest thing to do. I can give you a small example from the way I use my mobile or stuff. I always back up my mobile into my personal computer. I do not use cloud of any kind. I do not pay for cloud of any kind, whether it is terabytes or whatever it is. You pay for it and you cloud your contacts, your photographs, everything. You don't need to go to a different place and want to access your data from a different computer and all that, signing in into your identity and your email and stuff. I just think that if you're smart enough, there are this small, just this small, maybe an inch by an inch and a half hard drives, solid state, SSD, solid state hard drives that are available, which are as big as 500 GB, sorry. Not even 500 GB, I'm mistaken, it's 5 terabytes. I've actually got a couple of those from in my last travel outside. These small SSD hard drives, which are as they have space as much as 5 terabytes. So you can easily carry that in your wallet or maybe in your bag, and you do not need the help of cloud computing if you have any question mark. And that's probably the safest way to do it. I think Mr. Sanjay Das will agree to it. So all I can say is that while we go forward, there is nothing wrong in looking around and seeing where the stop sign is, and where your mind does not give you a warning sign for nothing. Every idea that comes to your mind is a ray of light. So when you see there is a there is a scare in your mind when you see websites that to you, to the naked eye, as they say, prima facie, which looks suspicious to you. Do not get into it, no matter how cheaply they're selling detergent powder or maybe a great dress. Don't get into it. That's the only way to go about it in the practical sense of the term. And there are a lot of scares, like Mr. Sanjay Das last time in a conference in Taj Bengal, he highlighted how risky today's web world is. It's like black holes and dark matter in the space, inside space. We are just trying to know a little bit of it. So there, while he was explaining that and saying how many loopholes do exist, we also had Mr. Sharma, right? Mr. Sharma, who's a stalwart, a legend in the field of digital in the digital space, and one of the pillars who, along with Nandan Nilekani, was UADAI. He was one of the men who created the Aadhaar card system in our country, which is widely regarded as one of the most efficient social security ID that you can have in any part of the world. So use it carefully, use it prudently, use it with a little bit of caution, but you don't need to be scared because you're all smart guys. Remember that when you are scared, you need not be so scared that you stop using plastic money, because that's how the economy grows. That's how spending is important, and just spending cash and having cash around does not help the exchequer of the country or the economy in any sense. So when you're scared, remember one thing that Sir Winston Churchill very famously said, that I have had 1,000 frightful dreams. So when you're going to websites, remember this, that he said that I have had 1,000 frightful dreams. Only very few actually happen. Only very few actually happen. So you go to 1,000 different sites during the day, good or bad. I'm not getting into it, really. You go to 1,000 different sites, good and bad, but most of them are legitimate good sites. A few of them are there. They are always going to be there. They are going to exist. And as we grow in the positive direction, do not be under the illusion, or under the delusion rather, that there is not going to be enough increase or enough development in the negative side either, because the basic theory of life is it is a coexistence of the good and the evil. So stay safe, be prudent, use money, use the net, get digital, use the cloud, try to use it prudently, and I hope that with the intelligent people that you had today, I see a lot of darkness. The room is not very well lit in the middle part, because I think that when you have enlightened minds, there is light anyway, so you do not need more light in the space. So thank you so much. I hope that we not really too long. Have a great day and a great week together. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be part of today's afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. He just said he's not an expert in the field, but his speech proves otherwise. Thanks a lot to him for explaining in layman's terms about security and how, and not to be scared. I think that's the end point today, that don't be scared, use it, but use it responsibly. Thank you so much for those words. I'm sure our students have learned a lot. For the final vote of thanks, maybe Mrs. Bose or Vice Chancellor, anybody would. Mrs. Bose, yes, please.
I know students are really, as the minister said, must be hungry, impatient, but as I was telling the minister, that he has covered many different aspects, but he has really hit the nail. We can do a lot many things, but with caution. Caution is cautiously we can do many things, so don't get scared. One thing, let me tell you, why did we plan this day, this event? The International Cyber Security Awareness Month stands to be October. And we are towards the end of the month. So maybe we'll plan every year to celebrate this day, to keep people aware of our surroundings. I know people are hungry, no more talks. Thank you so much.